study, and the traffic engineering company has submitted a report to the township. And I became aware of what was happening because buried deep into that report is a section that makes some proposals about the Orchard Lane intersection, Orchard Lane and Kenwood Road, which included the possibility of removing the Orchard Lane traffic light. So my alarm bells immediately went off, thinking about how critical and important that traffic light is for our local community. Certainly here at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church and our preschool, our nursery school, that traffic light equips our families and our parishioners to be able to safely exit onto Kenwood Road. It equips them to be able to turn left. Prior to that traffic light, I'm told, because I'm new here, we had to have a traffic officer on Sunday mornings letting people in and out for worship. But it doesn't just impact Good Shepherd. It impacts the entire neighborhood. Raise your hand if you're a resident, a local resident here nearby. Yeah. Okay, raise your hand if you're connected in any way to the local business community here. And raise your hand if you're connected to the faith community or our preschool. We've got some preschool families and folks connected. What an amazing display of community. Thank you for coming out. I don't have all the knowledge, and I can't pretend to, about the township and their plans. But when we saw that this traffic light could be in potential jeopardy, I put back on my local politics hat. Years ago, I served 4 years as an elected official for the village of Marymount as a city council member, and so I am well versed in the issues and challenges that local townships and trustees, councils face in making decisions. I want to start off by saying my mindset here, and I think the mindset of the local business community, needs to be collaboration and not confrontation, right? The township is not an enemy. The township is tasked with a really difficult problem, right? How do we help control and mitigate traffic? How do we keep our intersections safe? How do we view ongoing expansion and growth of this area? This area certainly is very different than it was 70 years ago in 1953 when Good Shepherd Lutheran Church was first established. The area has grown up, and you've experienced this, the local residents, more than anyone else, right? And so this morning, we want to provide a little bit of context for you about what is happening in the township, as well as resource you and equip you to allow your voice to be heard. So there is a survey that the township has put out. Some of those surveys were mailed to local residents. We have copies, paper copies, out at our desk. You can grab one. There's also a link for you to fill it out online. One of the most important things you can do as a local citizen is to let your voice be heard. Express your desires. And I'm not going to tell you exactly what to say. You have your own thoughts. You have your own opinions. And it might be a little bit diverse or different than the thoughts and opinions that I have or other local business leaders. That's okay. This is not a township trustee meeting, and so we're not here to debate what should be done, right? But we are here to help inform and equip you to be an equipped and informed citizen. You'll notice on your table the green sheet here as well. This is something that I've put together that is an online petition that if you read this petition, you can scan it with your phone. There's also a link out at the desk that you could type in to a computer. And if you feel like you support the things that are in this petition, you can add your name to it. This survey and petition was put together just out of conversation that I've had with the local business district, the faith community, and many neighbors. So read it for yourself. And if you feel like you want to add your signature, add your signature. I plan, after a while, after we collect hopefully lots of signatures, to show up at a trustee meeting, a township meeting, and say, hey, 1,000 people or 2,000 people from the community feel this way. Keep these things in mind as you make decisions. Without further ado, though, I want to invite up a good partner, a good friend to the neighborhood, Greg Pincero, the owner of Trio and a lot of the business development in the area. Greg has been committed, he and his family, to this region and area for quite a long time with his business, but more importantly, his activism and solidarity with the community. And he's going to provide just a little bit more history on what's happening in the area and what might be going on with the traffic study. So let's hear it for Greg.
Again, I want to thank Lauren, Pastor Lauren. He's a tough act to follow, actually. I'm not used to this, but anyway, so bear with me a little bit. And I also want to let everybody know we have Trustee Tom James here. We have Tracy Killam from the township. He's our administrator, and I want to welcome them, and former Jim LaBarber, former trustee. So, I'll give you a little history lesson here. I'm Greg Pincero. We own the Joseph Banks Center across the way, as well as Trio Restaurant. And that's been in our family, that property, since 1953. It stems back from when the Seelmeyer farm, which is probably who Good Shepherd purchased from, Helen Seelmeyer. On this side of the road was the Seelmeyer farm. On that side of the road was the Shire farm. My wife is a Shire. So anyway, there's a lot of relatives. I'm still working hard. So it's not meant much to me. So anyway, and actually a little history. Orchard Lane was the Seelmeyer's orchard, hence Orchard Lane. So that's a little history lesson for you. So anyway, also I said this at a trustee meeting. My wife grew up over there. Her lemonade stand was there. And she now has a reason to always go back to the mall. Unfortunately, I have to pay for it. She tells me she's just going home. So anyway, that's a little bit of the history lesson. We purchased the building, my wife and I, in 1985. We redeveloped it. That building over there was really the building that was the first retail office building in this area. We had 2 internists, 2 dentists, Hamagami Labs. We had a hair parlor, a beauty salon, a foot doctor, a Spring Pharmacy, Mercantile Bank, and my father-in-law also had a lawnmower repair shop and sales for the neighborhood. So that building has really served the community a long time. We've refurbished it, and we've had wonderful tenants ever since. Joseph Banks, one of the top in the area, Blue Sal's Bakery. We are blessed to have him. He's one of the best bakers in the area. So he donated all this. Pastry today. Toppets, and then of course Trio. And we've worked hard at Trio to maintain standards and what have you. We've also been active in the Sycamore Township community. Over on Galbraith Road, I work with some fellows. We brought F&W Publishing out of the city, which was a good for tax base here. We brought Freiburg Orthopedic out of Blue Ash. And back several years ago, there was a little ad in the Inquirer, and most developers didn't even want to apply to it. I did. I became good friends with the GSA and brought the FBI over there. So hopefully it makes our community safe. So with that being said, obviously our property does back up. One thing we're guilty of, our property backs up to a development that the township wants to do over here on Montgomery Road. And over the years, we've tried to work with the township, but we've been threatened over the years with eminent domain for a road, a parking garage, and what have you. So anyway, it kind of tamped down and got quiet for a while, and now we have this traffic study. Back in 2021, we were worried that maybe the traffic light would be weaponized against us. And I had this study done by a former traffic engineer who used to work for the township. And we were just suggesting ways to make Orchard Lane safer. I'll go on record right now, we're willing to pay for a left turn lane going this way, just like the developer down Happiness Way. For both ourselves, the church, and you all residents. We're happy to pay 100% of that bill. Second of all, I was very disappointed. We have all these nice new signs on Orchard going up Kenwood Road that lets motorists know there's an intersection there. For some reason, Orchard Lane didn't get one. I was told it was because of the traffic study. Well, you had to order those signs 18 months to 24 months ago, and that traffic study just came out 4 weeks ago. So anyway, with that being said, we want to work with the township. We want to work in any way. It has to make financial sense. It has to be good for us, be good for you as a residents and the church. One thing that was great, I'm very proud of, when we went for zoning to get the little parking lots across the street from Trio, we wanted to keep our employees and our guests out of the neighborhoods. So we put the 2 lots over here. It was perfect for Good Shepherd because all their people could come out, use the light, and not have to daycare go left and worry about getting T-boned. Another thing too, to look at a positive note, Orchard Lane light can be a positive. There could be a calming method for calming of traffic going to Montgomery Road. Right now, you all witness these drivers. When they see yellow, that means go. Yellow, red. If you get there about the Talbot store, there's going to be a certain amount of drivers that are going to hit the gas. Unfortunately, we might have a fatality at Montgomery and Kenwood. No, I almost got hit the other day, and being the first guy leaving, you want to be the second guy. Trust me. And people will beep at me, they think I'm texting. I'm not texting, I'm waiting. So anyway, there are ways to do that. We have 2 turn lanes on Hospital. There's ways to make this great for you all, for the businesses, for the church, and for all the residents. And so with that being said, I think I'll make a statement. Buddy LaRosa, we have 5 LaRosa. I want to point out my son back there. He's taken over the family business. We have the 5 LaRosas. He knows property development. Before he came to work with the family, he did over 50 developments for the Kroger Company throughout the United States. So he knows development and can work with the township on developing this over here. But and Buddy LaRosa, we sold the 5 LaRosas. We're proud of the center we did down there at Kenwood LaRosas. That was a kind of a mess. We bought it 5 years ago and straightened, got the employees, the customers out of the neighborhoods. And the positive thing came out of that, we got sidewalks. The trustees saw it when we did our development, we got sidewalks for that whole community. So with that being said, Buddy LaRosa was out. He comes out every Tuesday and Thursday. We talk about the old days. We've been in business with them in 50 when I opened up at Kings Island LaRosas. And Buddy and I were standing there making pizzas. But I'm going to leave you one thought. Buddy got a street named after him. Ted Gregory got one. Jeff Ruby got one. I don't want a street named. I just want a street.
You know, it's really rare in today's day and age when a local business owner, somebody who's dedicated his life to commerce, is willing to invest private personal capital from their business into local municipal safety measures. And so I think that's remarkable. You haven't seen that in this country since the age of Rockefeller, really. Mm-hmm. But that's what it's going to take for us as a community. We want to come together and think collaboratively about how we can, again, I'm new to the area, but not view this as a contention or a confrontation, but collaboration. Having sat on a city council for 4 years, I know how difficult decisions are to make. You've got constituencies and thoughts coming from 18 different directions that you have to take into consideration. But what I've learned over the years as a city council member, the power of collective community action is the single greatest lever in influencing decisions that are made. Your voice matters, whether you feel like it or not, whether you've been made to feel like it or not. Your voice matters. And so there are a few ways that we want to invite you to take action. First and foremost, the township has put together a survey. We encourage you to fill it out. Now you'll notice on the survey, There is not a question or a line that directly inquires about Orchard Lane. The survey is a broader survey about traffic on Kenwood Road, Montgomery, and the region. What I would encourage you to do, if you feel passionate about Orchard Lane, the traffic light, some of the things that Greg has proposed, to just write that in there. You won't find the question directly related to it, but nonetheless, let your voice be heard. That's the most important. Number 2, when citizens show up to council or trustee meetings, it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. When I was over on Marymount City Council, we had all sorts of things we had to deal with, none this large, right? But even putting a stop sign in at a certain intersection, you would have thought we were negotiating at Nuremberg, right? I mean, you have so many people that come out and they don't want the stop sign, they want the stop sign, but having people present makes a difference. Show up to meetings, be engaged, ask questions, get to know your trustees. Trustees are people like you and I. Get to know them, let it be relational. And number 3, we have put together a petition. There are paper copies on your way out. You can add your signature to it. What has the power to gain a lot of traction is the online petition. And again, you can scan your smartphone or there's a link on the page. I want to read you some of the language on the petition so that you can hear it now. And I encourage you only to add your signature if you support what's on the petition, right? That's up to you. It reads, "We, the undersigned business owners, residents, and members of the local faith community, write this petition with a shared concern regarding the potential removal of the traffic light at the intersection of Orchard Lane and Kenwood Road. We strongly urge you to reconsider this option and preserve the traffic light at Orchard Lane and Kenwood Road for the following reasons. Safety. The traffic light plays a critical role in ensuring the safety of pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists who traverse this intersection daily. Its removal would disrupt the existing traffic patterns and increase the risk of accidents, putting our community's well-being at stake. We must prioritize the safety of our residents, particularly children, elderly individuals, and those with disabilities, who heavily rely on this light to cross the intersection safely. The recently published 2022 Hamilton County Crash Analysis Report no longer ranks the Kenwood Road and Orchard Lane intersection in the top 10 or top ranking for accident experience in both Hamilton County and Sycamore Township. Traffic flow. The traffic light efficiently regulates the flow of vehicles at this busy intersection. It's not perfect, right? Side note, we recognize that. But again, with the measures proposed, we believe we can enhance it. Its removal would result in increased traffic congestion, leading to delays for commuters, residents, and local businesses. Local business. The presence of a traffic light at the intersection of Orchard and Kenwood is vital to sustain success for our local business. This traffic light facilitates customer access to many beloved establishments, including Trio's Restaurant, Basalis Bakery, and the rest of the Joseph A. Banks Center. Removing the traffic light would discourage patronage, decrease foot traffic, and jeopardize the economic viability of those local establishments. We believe, as a community, in supporting local commerce. It's integral to the prosperity of our community. Livability and quality of life. The traffic light contributes to our neighborhood's livability and quality of life by enabling safe and efficient mobility. It allows residents to access essential amenities, educational institutions, healthcare facilities, places of worship. The removal of the light would impede these vital connections, leading to inconvenience. Additionally, the removal of the light would delay response time to residents in need of emergency services, effectively jeopardizing lives and creating undue risk to human life in times of crisis. Faith community. The traffic light is of particular importance to the faith community at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church and our preschool, as it facilitates the safe movement. The removal of the light would put an undue burden on our members and jeopardize their safety to and from our campus. So, given the compelling reasons outlined above, we respectfully request that you preserve the light at Orchard and Kenwood. In addition, we ask you to consider the following measures. Investigate safety measures to make the traffic operations at Kenwood and Orchard safer. Evaluate the feasibility of installing a northbound left turn arrow signal, like Greg mentioned, at the Kenwood and Orchard Lane intersection. Install new illuminated overhead street signs at the Kenwood Road and Orchard Lane intersection, like the overhead signs at others on the Kenwood Road corridor. And install new backplates with retroflective borders to the traffic signal heads to improve the visibility of the illuminated face of the signal. We implore you to prioritize our community's safety, convenience, and economic prosperity, and retain the traffic light to maintain the well-being of our residents, local businesses, and the faith community. We trust that you will carefully consider the concerns raised in this petition and make a decision that aligns with all of our best interests. Right now, we have 6 signatures. We hope to garner more. I invite you to read that petition through yourself. It might not be comprehensive with everything you're thinking about. That's okay. The most important thing is that together as the community, we let our voices be heard, we take ownership of our community, and we work together with the township. We thank you so much for coming out this morning. It's wonderful, on a side note, to meet so many of you, people in the local community. And I know Greg and I will be here for a little while. We encourage you to continue to talk with one another. We have a trustee here and a township administrator. Together, we'll figure this out and we'll move forward. So thank you so much for coming out today.